Hey everyone, this is P4L, and in today's P4L review we'll be taking a look at a brand new third-party company called Generation Toy and their first figure in their series of Constructicons, their GT-01 Scraper. I always get that wrong. Scraper, so with one P, not two, and this is obviously their version of Scraper. So let's go ahead and get started with packaging review. And the packaging for this guy is really nice. Obviously, a lot of people have already said that this looks a lot like the company Reverting, and it might be, it might not be. I don't know for sure. But the packaging, which has always been very nice on Reverting, it does feel very similar in that respect. So the packaging has a nice sleeve or slip cover that has a picture of their scraper going all the way around to the side. Not much on the top, just Generation Toy, and on the back you get a picture of their combined mode Constructicon and some warning labels and so forth, and their Weibo page, and you can go ahead and just slip that off. And this box right here feels very much the same as the Reverting Computron box. It's not exactly the same, it's not a window box or anything like that, but just the actual finish and texture to it feels very similar. Unlike the Computron box or Reverting WB03 boxes, this one is actually just kind of a shoebox type, I guess. So you just slip off the top like so, and you get a few things, which I haven't even opened these. You just get some artwork and some instructions, and I don't know if you get a bio card with this, so I guess we'll figure out together whether you get any of that. So it looks like this is just a giant poster of that same kind of Devastator image that was on the back of the box. It looks like, I don't know, it looks like that's some carbot, I can't really tell. But yeah, that's it for the poster. And then you get a nice instruction booklet, nice and shiny, look at that. Bling bling. And then a bunch of instructions on how to get this guy transformed. And that's pretty much it. So we're going to be going through the transformation for this guy from the first mode, which we'll see here. Nice sponge padding, and it comes in alt mode. And we'll go ahead and take him out. And on first opening, this guy feels really nice, really hefty. I don't believe there's any diecast in this figure. I might be wrong. We'll get to that in a little bit, but I'm pretty sure there's no diecast in this figure, but he still feels really hefty and really solid in hand. So let's start off the review with alt mode. So here's Scraper in alt mode. You can hear the rubber tires, which are really nice, rubbing around as I do a quick 360 on him. And I think his alt mode is just my favorite just because I think it's the most, I guess, my ideal look, kind of a realistic, although it's not, you know, super realistic, it's detailed enough and it has enough kind of finer details that make it look like a real construction vehicle, and as opposed to the leg mode, which looks a little off to me, and then the robot mode, which doesn't look like my ideal Scrapper, but still good on nonetheless. But this is my favorite mode. It has a good amount of paint details, like these warning stripes everywhere. It has a little bit of gray and silver, a little bit of orange on these kind of lights. I like how the gun storage on the bottom makes it almost look like a big exhaust pipe here, which is kind of nice. He has these nice little, I guess, guardrails, which can be articulated depending on which way your drunk driver is wanting to fall off. The rubber tires are really nice, rolls really well, but the rubber tires are a really nice touch. Some people like it, some people won't, but they are rubber. They can come off the actual wheel itself. These little ladders can fold up if you want to store them. And the shovel, or whatever this thing is called, has a lot of articulation. So it has a joint here, the joint here, has a joint here, and then joints at the front. So a lot of motion, more than you would probably ever want or need for this alt mode, but it's nice to have. It does also feature translucent windows all the way around. Nice little touch. It is a little gappy here, and I had the back is open, and you can see the combiner port that's actually stored in the cab itself. But by and large, this is a really nice alt mode. The bottom is pretty well covered. The gun tabbed in really well. It has, you know, a couple of tabs from the feet that tab in on either side, and then actually tabs in straight into the body with the gun handle. So really nice, definitely my favorite mode, and it's really solid. Alright, so the way we're going to do transformation, just because it's a bit easier, we're going to go from alt to combined to robot and then back. Alright, so hopefully I don't mess any of this up. So let's go ahead and get started. I think the first thing we'll do is just get the shovel out of the way. It makes things a little bit easier. We'll just move that out of the way, and we're going to deal with the upper body first. So the upper body, actually let's scoot out just a tiny bit, is going to unpeg like so from the side of the body. We're going to rotate it down like this at a right angle. So obviously this is going to be kind of how it forms. The next thing we'll do is take care of these ladders. These ladders are actually going to untab, rotate around to the other side, and tab in. And actually we're going to rotate the forearm as well, just so you can see that tab. And we're going to need to do that anyway for transformation. Come on, get in that tab. There we go. So yeah, same thing on the other side. We're going to rotate at what is kind of like the bicep joint, untab the ladder, rotate it around, and tab it in onto the other side. There we go. Next, what we're going to do is actually bring this kind of inward. So there's a joint here that rotates in, and you'll see there's a small kind of trapezoidal, I guess, and that'll go into the chest here. Same thing on the other side. And I didn't show it, but these pieces are actually tabbed in right here. So you're going to want to untab those before you obviously swing these around. These are going to swing around and just kind of sit here. They don't tab in anywhere, they just kind of sit right there. These you can kind of just fold out of the way like this. That's what they say, but really just getting it out of the way of the bottom is fine, any way you want to do it. Alright, so I think we're done there. Is there anything I forgot? Oh, so on the sides here you're going to have ankle articulation. To do that you actually need to pull these kind of well hidden tabs that are tabbed in to the side of the body, and they're really hard to reach. There we go. So you just open them up like that. And yeah, like I said, they're very hard to reach into. I wish there was some kind of tab or something like that that would be easy to grab onto, but there really isn't. And if you don't have fingernails, it makes it very hard. So you might need to grab like a spudger or something sharp. The other thing to do, you can go ahead and fold up the, you can untab the bottom tab on the gun and just flip them up like this. Keep the top part tabbed in though. Alright. What else am I missing? Oh, dang it, I flipped this back in. So the next thing we'll do is deal with the top. So the top here, we're going to untab these pieces. And this kind of rotates out. You're going to split it and then fold this inner piece outward like that, and then fold that back down, tab these back in, and then from here, this pipe thingy, if you have it, just fold it down. This cab is going to untab from the top here. You're going to fold these little flat pieces all the way up on either side. And making use of this long arm, you're going to go all the way around. You'll see 1, 2, 3, 4 tabs that are going to go in here, posts that go into these holes. Just get that in securely. I think I untabbed the gun by accident. Now that's a secondary thing, we don't really need to worry about that for now. And then the actual front of the roof of the cab opens up, and that's also on a double hinge, and it kind of just sits down in front. This is the combiner joint. You're supposed to rotate it out, but it's really tight, and I have not been able to pull it out, so I'm not even going to try, but you're supposed to rotate this upward. And then you can go ahead with this shovel. You'll see these two posts go into these two holes right there. And if I didn't make a mistake anywhere, these stupid side pieces, if I didn't make a mistake anywhere, that should be it for the combiner mode leg. Really nice. It has a really nice heel back here, really big heel, very solid. And I feel like I did maybe something wrong, because it seems like it leans a little bit forward, but I can't imagine what I did wrong, because that's tabbed in correctly, these are tabbed in correctly. Maybe it's the wheels. I'm not sure if you can rotate these up, but I don't think you're supposed to do that for this mode, but I guess you could if you wanted to. I think it looks worse that way, so I think it's supposed to be down anyway for official transformation. So yeah, pretty simple transformation, but pretty solid overall. These little tabs I keep shoving in by accident do let you get some ankle rock. No forward and back, which is a really big bummer for me. It's one of the things I complained a lot about with Orden, Unique Toys Orden, and one of the reasons why I actually didn't finish collecting him. So we'll see how that works out. I mean, he does have I'm hoping it won't be that big of a deal when it actually combines, but I just don't like not having forward ankle articulation. I think that's a mistake on their part for not having that. We'll see how that plays out though, and we'll see how this joint actually works out in practice once we get more of the Generation Toy Guy out, so we can actually test out that joint. But yeah, it is definitely a different take on the leg. It doesn't have the traditional look where the cab kind of still sits on front, but it's a nice look. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into robot mode. We're going to basically be going backwards for the most part. I'm going to go ahead and cover that up. Those tabs will tab back into the main part of the cab. I'm going to go ahead and unpeg the whole cab, including the roof. Come on. Off like that. And that will end up coming back down and tabbing in right here with these posts. Go ahead and finish off the rest of the rear of the cab, going backwards, untabbing these. Go ahead and fold this back up like this. And we're just going to leave these kind of sitting like this for now, because we're going into robot mode. And you can leave these tabs just kind of folded up against the wheel. Next thing we'll do is deal with the feet. We can just get this gun out of the way. Once we have that done, we're basically just gonna open up these little tabs on the, well, actually we don't have to do that. We'll just straighten out the legs. So the legs are kind of weirdly collapsed. You just need to pull down on them. You can split them if you want at this point. We're going to untab these side pieces here, rotate them down, and that hole that was formed by those pieces has a corresponding peg that closes up, and then you just rotate the foot into place on this kind of weird set of joints. So again, untab that, rotate it down, tab that into place. This I don't really like. It doesn't tab in securely and then this piece separates. It's because this hole is being made by two halves and this isn't being securely tabbed into the foot here. So this kind of, if this tabbed in somewhere there, this would work a lot better, but it doesn't really work well in the front. The shin doesn't really stay tabbed in. So I don't really like that. Alright. The knee, back of the knee, you can fold this down. You'll need that if you want to get the full articulation on the knee. Alright. So we're kind of done with the lower body. The upper body, we'll go ahead and collapse this just kind of like so. This part we're going to untab from the chest. Just kind of straighten it out. These we can rotate back around and make use of this kind of edge that tabs in there. Can't really see. There we go. Same thing on this side. Kind of just sneaks in there. You can straighten out the arms. Alright, so there's one thing that the instructions say to do. They say these ladders, or these guardrails, should fold up like this on the front of the arm. That's definitely wrong. Like, it's got to be 100% wrong. I'm just going to show that to you, but I'm telling you right now, that's got to be wrong. The fists kind of work on this little piece that rotates around and sits on the back of the forearm. And they're spring loaded, they come out. You're going to need to actually yank on them a bit. And just be careful, the fingers actually do feel like the plastic's not that great. So just be careful. So yeah, once you have it all pulled out, it's very solid. Same thing on this side. Just be careful again about the fingers in particular. Again, once you get that out, very solid. And then the head reveal is just you open up the chest, rotate out the head, close this back up. And with that, did I already tell you guys to put this back in? If I didn't, go ahead and close up those side kind of obliques. With that, you're kind of done with the official transformation into robot mode. The forearm thing I'm going to get to first, just because I think it is a mistransformation the way that they tell you to do it. The reason being, you get elbow interference, but if you rotate it around, that cover that covered the fist up, if you rotate this back, this one of the guardrails actually tabs or kind of sits right into it and clips right onto that, and that makes a lot more sense. I'm guessing just the people who made the instructions were incorrect about it, and it actually has a satisfying click too if you get it in correctly. Yeah, there we go. You heard it loud and clear. That makes a lot more sense, and if that was just happenstance, then they got very lucky on that. So here is Scraper in robot mode. Oh, no, I'm sorry. One last thing. You weren't supposed to tab these in because I forgot that you actually have to unpeg the wheels and rotate them back. I kind of talked about that in the leg mode as an option. That's actually required here. So my mistake on that. My apologies. So he looks really great in robot mode. He is a bit bulkier than I was really viewing my Constructicons, but it's not a bad idea to have, you know, huge chunky construction vehicles be chunky robots. The gun, you can rotate the handle down and slide it into his hand. It's not bad. It's pretty secure. It looks like in the fist they have like a little rail system, but the handle doesn't have that. So maybe that's something that they had originally planned for. I wish the peg was a little bit longer just because there's interference with the forearm, but he holds it okay. The head sculpt, I don't love the head sculpt. It's definitely a different take on it. It makes it look more like a classics take as opposed to, say, an MP take. And I'm not saying this is a masterpiece scale figure. That's really going to be up to you whether you think it is or not. But overall, aesthetic-wise, in robot mode at least, I don't think it is. And it doesn't have like the high detail level that it does in robot mode, in alt mode. The alt mode I could say being MP, the robot mode not so much. So let's go ahead and go over articulation. The head does also have really nice light piping. It's orange, which is a bit different. Instead of like, you know, traditional red, I actually would have preferred red. The head is on a ball joint. Not a lot of movement on it. Mostly up is what you're going to get. His shoulders are on hinges that go out this way and ratchets that go around. He does have a bicep swivel, elbow, which you get about 90 degrees on, swivel at the wrists, and then all four fingers are kind of MP style in that there are one pin joint. He does have a waist swivel. And if you open those tabs again, you can kind of get some kind of side-to-side action going on. It's not really. You should be able to get some side-to-side going on. Yeah, you can get it going on. I think maybe. Oh, if you untab that, you should be able to get some side-to-side going on. Not terrible, but not really worth it for robot mode. On the back here, I don't love the back. I wish they could have done something with this. It does kind of stick out a little bit more than I would like. And that gap here is kind of unsightly. But not terrible. These hip covers are really, or hip skirts, are really annoying. They're on ball joints, but they're not very secure. It's not like they're loose. They just are in a weird position that they like to sink in like this. I guess because they sit so far out. And it makes it really frustrating. I don't like that they're on ball joints. They serve no purpose to be on ball joints, honestly. It might have been just better to have like a mushroom peg. Ratcheted legs here. But there's a lot of play. This might be solved. I saw recently that on Facebook they posted, or Rebo they posted that there are replacement parts coming with it. One being these covers, and one being hip skirt, which I'm complaining about, and hip ratchets, I believe. So that will get rid of a lot of play. We have this weird backwards joint, kind of like Leodux had, and that was for transformation. It would have been very nice to have a tabbing system here that locked that into place. I don't like that it doesn't have that. It does have a swivel here, friction joint going out, so kind of a universal joint there. 90-degree knee bend. And then you have these weird ankles and feet, so you get really no forward and back that much. You get some. Well, actually, you get a decent amount going back. Not that much going forward because of this joint. You have some ankle going out, none really going in for the most part. But you have in going this way. So it's a weird set of joints, and then you have the toe on a double hinge. And then the heel, I think, can rotate, but it runs into interference with this ankle piece, I think. Oh no, you can't because it's hinged there. So I don't like this. It reminds me very much of Feral Rex's figures, like Tigress and Talon. I think those are the ones, or maybe no, maybe it was Bovis and Fortis. But it has these weird. It just doesn't look right. It doesn't look like it's actually a foot, not connected like you would think anatomically it should be connected. But it does give you some decent amount of range of motion. Again, the shins, they bother me a lot. Like this one came untabbed. It doesn't sit flush. It would have been better to have more than just one tab system, especially since, or peg system, since this one is not really a solid peg. So here he is next to Red Alert. So a little taller than a Carbot. Not by much, but definitely taller. Not a bad size, I don't think. But I don't think this is actually accurate to the MP scale chart, but I actually haven't checked recently, so if you want to display him with, say, your Combiner Wars figures, you can see how big he is. He's pretty much like a Voyager size figure. I don't know if I have a... Oh, I do. Here he is next to MP Prime. So yeah, he's kind of like a small Voyager. Alright, so yeah, that's pretty much it. He doesn't come with any other accessories, but yeah, he looks good. He's just not my... If I wanted him as an MP figure, which was kind of my plan, he doesn't look really good as an MP in robot mode. Just my opinion. And then the entire combiner mode, we'll see. He's definitely taking some liberties in terms of design. I think the only thing that really bothers me the most is his head sculpt. It looks very generic and it doesn't look like Scrapper. So that I think that's the biggest deal for me. So let's get Scraper transformed back into combine mode and then into alt mode and finish off the review. First thing we'll do is go ahead and collapse in the fists. You're going to have to get that guardrail kind of out of the way so you can flip this back around and cover up the fist. Again, they're in their next mixing truck release. This is supposed to be replaced. They're going to have new pieces for that. Again, I'm not really sure why. They seem fine to me, albeit a little bit thin. But maybe they've got reportages of breakages or something like that. From here, let's go ahead and deal with the head. Go ahead and flip this out, this chest piece out. Rotate the head in, close that up. What do we have to do up here? Rotate the arm down like that. Something like that, like so. Bend at the elbow. I'm going to bring this around to the side for now. Same thing over here. We're going to rotate the arms in, plug them into the chest again. Oh, rotate these wheels down on those double hinges. Peg those in. Get these flaps to just kind of sit on the back here, like so. These little guardrail things, just kind of tuck them up like that. Alright, so that's pretty much the heel. So then we'll deal with the legs. The legs, we'll just get these feet out of the way for now. Unpeg those. I forget what we need to do with this. Oh, we're gonna have to get these kind of like that for now. This piece is gonna rotate around 180 degrees. You can peg both halves together at this point, both legs together. And then you're gonna make use of that weird backwards knee bend to collapse the front of the, or I guess the rear of the truck, like so. Come on, there we go. And then these, if you did it correctly, which I didn't, obviously, these will peg into the side of the legs. Go ahead and keep these down like this for now. Peg these in. Go ahead and extend the cab all the way up. Oh, flip these little heel pieces, not heel pieces, knee pieces. Tab that in. Get that piece up in front. The heels will come back. And if you want, you can go ahead and add the combined the weapon. So I didn't show it in detail before, but there's a tab here and a tab here that have corresponding pieces to the toe section and kind of the heel section. And then this little slot here, oops, sorry, this is upside down. The little rectangular piece here will actually peg in like this. Come on. Is that right? Oh, I gotta get this handle kind of straight. You can do the same for the other side. Get those two pieces in on either side. There we go. And then go ahead and whatever the shovel piece is called, peg that in again. And then flip out these pieces. Ow! My fingernail. I really don't like these pieces. They're also super thin. There we go, we're back in combined mode. And then getting back into alt mode, let's just fold those up. Let's deal with this first. Get that roof tabbed in. Unpeg the entire cab. Flip those little flappy things down on both sides. Let's deal with the wheels and the front, I suppose. We'll go ahead and flip this around. Flip this around. Untab the chest pieces. Getting these ladders out the way. These will tab in. I'm gonna rotate this. I'm gonna rotate the forearms, or I guess the biceps. Untab the ladder. Rotate it around and tab it into the other side. And then the elbow should bend 90 degrees. And then this peg here will peg into that part of the leg, and then this tab here will go into the waist. And that will solidify the entire cab, midsection of the cab, I guess. If you can get it to actually work. Something's wrong. What am I doing wrong? Oh, it'd help to get this out of the way. Alright, same thing on the other side. I'm gonna go ahead and rotate the bicep 180. Get the ladder on the other side. Rotate this around. Then tab those pieces into place. There we go. Bring the shovel or whatever it's called down. Bring the cab forward, and those pegs will go into the back. Like so. And I think that's pretty much it. Did I miss anything? No, I think that's pretty much it. So there we go. We have Scraper back in alt mode. Again, my favorite mode of the three. And I wish I had the guts to just display my Transformers in alt mode. I definitely do not. They need to be in robot or combined mode. So this guy will be in combined mode eventually, but for now I'm just gonna leave him in his alt mode because I do definitely like this. Alright, so final thoughts. While not all modes are great, again, I think the robot mode is my least favorite. They're all pretty solid. The heft of this guy and the construction is pretty good. There are some thinner pieces like the fist covers, these pieces here, that make me a little nervous, and even those little side tab pieces for the obliques that give you some ankle ankle articulation in combined mode. Those make me a bit nervous, but by and large, this guy is really solid. With the improved and replacement pieces that are coming out with their next figure, I think that it will be even better with the robot mode hips and skirt pieces being improved upon. So I think this is a really great attempt, and for the overall price, I think it's a solid buy. You have a ton of choices when it comes to Constructicons and Devastators. Toy World's obviously coming out with some. TFC had theirs. Make Toys had theirs. This one I think is one of my favorites so far, just in terms of overall look, transformation, engineering, and how the combiner mode will scale. I think the Toy World one, while it does have a lot of cool G1-esque features to it, the combine mode is just way too big. I just don't know what I would do with a combiner that big. It just doesn't scale with anything. So this guy is going to be kind of my default go-to Devastator for now, until I guess maybe Takara Tomy hopefully does their official one. But yeah, that's really it for the review. If you have any questions or comments, or if I messed up on anything, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Always appreciated. If you want to keep up to date with my news and reviews, go ahead and click the subscribe button over here, or go ahead and like me on Facebook at P4L Reviews. I want to thank my sponsor, Toy Dojo, for obviously sponsoring my reviews. So if you want to pick this up from their site, go ahead and click on the link in the description below as well. And just a heads up, they just started a new Facebook group called Dojo Disciples, which is a cool place for, Toy Dojo fans to go ahead and hang out, just chat, buy, sell stuff. Also, they share a lot of news or exclusive deals with those Dojo Disciples. So that link will also be in the description of this video if you want to check that out. But yeah, that's really it for the review. Hopefully that helps you guys out on your decision making process. But yeah, that's all for today, everyone. Have a good one.